Well, hello. Today's the 1976 John Carpenter movie, Assault on Precinct 13. 6 LA gang members are ambushed and killed by the police. A newly promoted officer gets his first assignment to take charge of a precinct that is being decommissioned. Basically, there are only 3 people, a sergeant and 2 civilian secretaries left. A prisoner on a bus gets sick, and they decide to stop at the nearest police station, which happens to be Precinct 13. A little girl and an ice cream truck driver are brutally assaulted and murdered by the gang in retaliation for the police ambush. The father chases the gang and manages to kill the leader in a shootout after a car chase. He takes refuge in the police station. The gang then cut the phones and power. They attack and kill the prison guards. Only the lieutenant, secretaries, and 2 prisoners survive. They must then join forces to fight off the gang. Eventually, there are only 3 survivors, and they must make a final stand against the gang in the basement. So this is John Carpenter's second movie, kind of his first official one after he graduated film school. And it was done only on a budget of $100,000, filmed in 20 days, filmed in Los Angeles. And, Carpenter was a big fan of Westerns, and he actually wanted to do Westerns when he graduated film school, but by the 70s, it was kind of obvious the genre was dead. So, instead of having to make a remake of Rio Bravo he decided he would change it to more modern setting and set it in a police precinct sieged by gang members. And this is definitely his kind of remake of Rio Bravo, and it does have a real Western feel to it. I always thought, when I first saw it, I thought, boy, it's kind of like a old cowboy and Indian movie, except Indians besieging a fort. It's gang members besieging a police precinct. Now, the movie didn't necessarily do real well in the United States. It had lackluster box office, but it was pretty well received in Europe, especially Britain. They really loved it. And of course, as time goes on, like many of his movies, it kind of gains a cult following. It's now well regarded. And he also used Night of the Living Dead, the George Romero movie, as his kind of inspiration for the gang. They're always this kind of, they almost never speak. They move silently through the night. They kind of appear almost supernaturally. And they're not really humanized. And they're kind of relentless and threatening, just like the zombies in the movie. It was originally called the Anderson Alamo. And, it was also remade in 2005, which was kind of a decent movie, although I don't think it was as good as this movie. I know personally, I think this is a really great movie of his. When I saw it first, I loved it. It's a fun, well-paced action movie. It has his kind of signature music, that kind of synth sound. The same music he used later on in Escape from New York. And I know I always wanted to see this. I mean, when I saw it, like as a preview on some VHS tape, I had to see this movie. And I think it's one of his better movies. I think, even though like IBDM or whatever considers this one of his best movies ever. So I think if you want a good, a solid action movie, I would recommend this. And if you stuck with me this long, thanks a lot. You're a unique individual.